Welcome to the Up Next Mindset podcast, where we believe success isn't just for the lucky few, it's for anyone who's ready to put in the work and keep that winner's mindset. Here are your hosts, Coach Shell and Sarah.
Welcome to the Up Next Mindset show. All right, let's talk chess. You know, that game that somehow manages to be both maddening and mesmerizing. I mean, have you ever looked at a chessboard and thought, oh, this is a metaphor for my life decisions?
Absolutely, Sarah. Chess is one of the purest mirrors of life. Each phase, opening, middle game, and end game, maps directly onto how we navigate our own lives. Think about it. The opening, that's education. The middle game, your career. And finally, the end game is like retirement, where all your earlier decisions come to roost.
Wow. Okay, now I'm rethinking every pawn I sacrificed in my 20s. But seriously, that's such a cool way to break it down. And hey, it's not just about nailing it from the beginning, right?
Absolutely, Sarah.
Didn't Edmar Mednis, chess grandmaster guy, say something like, a bad opening doesn't mean a bad endgame?
Exactly. Mednis said, after a bad opening, there is hope in the middle game. After a bad middle game, there is hope for the end game. It's a lesson in resilience. Just because something starts rough, that doesn't mean your story is written. In chess, you pivot, you recalibrate. Same goes for life.
Right? Like pulling yourself out of student debt, hypothetically speaking. But seriously, that flexibility is so key. You can't get stuck, whether it's on the board or in life. Can you give us an example, Coach Shell, like how you'd bring a chess move to real-life drama?
Sure. Let's say you're negotiating at work, maybe for a raise, maybe for resources. It's like watching your opponent's queen bearing down on you. Do you panic? No. You focus on positioning your pieces, your arguments, so you gain the upper hand without rash moves. It's all about staying calm under pressure and thinking a few steps ahead.
So basically, you're saying I should castle financially before my boss tries to skewer me.
Exactly. Chess teaches foresight, seeing the long game, not just the moves right in front of you. And composure. Even when things don't go as planned, there's nearly always a way to reposition, reset, and regain control. That's why I associate chess with a growth mindset.
Okay, I'm buying it. But let me ask this. What about the pawns, Coach? Everyone forgets about those little guys, but they've got power, right?
Oh, absolutely. Pawns may seem small, but their steady progression leads to transformation. They can become queens. It's the ultimate underdog story. In life, even our smallest efforts, those overlooked quiet moves, can build into something game-changing.
All right, I'm officially inspired. Pawns, endgames, Mednis. Who knew all this chess wisdom could apply to, like, everything?
Exactly.
And you're right, Coach Shell. Even when the board looks bad, you've still got moves to play. You know, Coach Shell, after what you said about pawns becoming queens and finding hope, even in the toughest setups, it reminded me of this story I came across. There's this girl named Gabrielle. She's using chess to cope while managing her brother's epilepsy. Talk about a position where resilience and strategy aren't just ideas, they're a way of surviving.
Yes, I watched her TED Talk also. It is a powerful story, Sarah. Gabrielle's experience highlights something so critical in both life and chess: adaptability. When unexpected challenges like a sudden seizure or an opponent's unexpected move on the board appear, how we respond defines our success.
Exactly. And she talks about this moment when her brother Alec had a seizure after years of being symptom-free. She describes how it forced her to think ahead constantly, like always being prepared for the next move, even when you don't know what your opponent's planning.
Right, Sarah. That's adaptability in its rawest form, adjusting to new variables in real time. In chess, it's like being ready to sacrifice a piece you didn't plan on losing to save the game. In life, it's recalibrating your actions to meet a new reality head-on. Gabrielle's story shows how staying calm and thinking strategically can help navigate even the most daunting situations.
And you know what stood out for me? She compared it to chess blunders. Like you mess up, your queen's gone, you're staring at the board thinking, this is it, I'm done. But then, you're not. You reposition, plan ahead, and somehow claw your way back in.
Exactly. Resilience. In life, as on the board, setbacks are inevitable. But how you recover, that's the key. Just like analyzing a chess match after a loss builds future strategies, reflecting on life's challenges prepares us for new ones. It's all about learning, adapting, and moving forward.
That's what Gabrielle did. She developed this knack for spotting warning signs, a bit like reading your opponent's body language in chess, right? And she got creative with her strategies, always thinking, what's my next best move? It's pretty inspiring.
Absolutely. Gabrielle's approach reminds me of tactical flexibility on the board, shifting approaches when the situation demands. That's one of the biggest lessons chess offers. When plan A fails, you need a plan B, C, and sometimes D. Adaptability, combined with a growth mindset, can turn obstacles into opportunities.
Speaking of growth mindsets, you know I've had to pull one of those off during my career. Like there was this time I took a hard left turn into a new field, and let me tell you, I felt like a pawn staring down a knight. But those pivots, or should I say, those tactical moves, those can seriously build something amazing. You know, Coach Shell, after talking about Gabrielle's resourcefulness and adaptability, it got me thinking, there's this other layer to success, both in chess and life. Creativity and intuition. Garry Kasparov once said, when logic and calculations run out, creativity takes over. Isn't that exactly what Gabrielle had to channel when she was figuring out her next moves? How does that not sound like life?
Absolutely, Sarah. Kasparov's insight gets to the heart of strategic decision-making. In chess, you have this mix of structured analysis, looking at probabilities, calculating moves, and then there's this unquantifiable aspect where you trust your gut. That moment when creativity steps in, that's what separates good players from great ones.
Right? And the gut part. Don't you think that's where intuition kicks in? Like in life, sometimes you don't have all the data. You don't have the whole equation figured out, but you make a call anyway. It's kind of beautiful, isn't it?
It is, Sarah. Intuition is like our internal compass when the map runs out. But here's the thing. Intuition isn't just guesswork. It's informed by all the knowledge, experience, and context you've built up over time. Kasparov compared it to navigating a maze with creativity as your flashlight.
Love that visual. And you know, it reminds me of something else he said, that the number of moves possible in chess is greater than the second since the Big Bang. I mean, talk about infinite possibilities. How do you even start wrapping your head around decisions like that?
That's where strategy comes into play. In chess, you focus on the moves that support your endgame goals. It's not about playing every possibility. It's about narrowing choices to the ones that align with your vision. And in life, it's the same. You don't chase every opportunity. You prioritize the moves that lead to growth, purpose, and success.
Wow. So life really is just a series of chessboards. Each choice, a move, each challenge, a pawn to navigate. Talk about overwhelming in the best way possible.
It can feel overwhelming, but remember, Sarah, even grandmasters start with the basics. Kasparov always talks about solid openings, education, early experiences. Get those right, and they give you the foundation for bigger, bolder moves later. It's structured creativity.
And for people listening, it's about taking their own lives seriously as chessboards. Be deliberate, but also a little daring. Like, go for that promotion, start that side hustle, maybe knock over a bishop or two, see what happens.
Exactly. Embrace the creativity, but don't ignore the intuition. It's that balance, like you said earlier, between logic and heart. That's where true strategy lives. And it's not just about being bold. It's understanding when to hold back, when to let your imagination guide, and when to calculate your way to victory.
Coach Shell, you're like a chessboard Yoda. I love it. Honestly, this conversation makes me want to dust off my chess set, or at least download a beginner's app. But seriously, as we wrap this up, what's the one takeaway you want our listeners to hold on to?
Here's what I'd say. Approach your life like a chess game. Plan ahead, but adapt when the board changes. Lean into intuition when strategy alone isn't enough. And most of all, don't fear failure. It's just a step to getting better. Every move, on the board or in life, is progress, as long as you keep playing.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Coach Shell. This has been eye-opening and honestly inspiring. And listeners, remember, the board is yours. On that note, we'll see you next time on the Up Next Mindset Show. Stay strategic, stay creative, and keep making those moves.